Hello, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, and I welcome both you and your ears to an episode of Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. In case you're wondering who Angie is, I'm Angie, and I'm super stoked to spend some time sharing with y'all some of my experiences and thoughts on living, loving, music, and space travel, or spiritual experiences as I often refer to as space travel. A rather broad spectrum, right? Well, my hope is to always share something that resonates with, intrigues, excites, or perhaps inspires you. On that note, I invite you to sit back, buckle up, and take a little trip out into the cosmos with me. Hello, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, coming to you with episode number 51 of my podcast, Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. This has been an interesting past few weeks. It's been a few weeks since I put out an episode, and holy shitballs, a lot has happened in the last few weeks. I'm titling this episode, A Life Beyond My Wildest Dreams. For anyone who thinks it's going to be some hokey-pokey, fantasy-filled, fluffy episode, I feel like it's going to be far from that. This last few weeks has had some incredibly challenging moments. I'll jump right in and eventually wind my way around to how I feel like I really am living a life beyond my wildest dreams. A few weeks ago, I guess maybe it was August 11th, our air conditioning took a crap. It stopped working. I happened to be outside in the backyard letting the dogs out, and I noticed it was really quiet out there. And living here in the South, I've become pretty comfortable with the sound of the fan blowing, knowing, I guess, just in the back of my mind that it was linked to the air conditioning, which is what kept it really cool inside. I noticed it wasn't blowing, seemed super quiet. And then I went inside, and there was my dad on the couch with no shirt on the couch in his shorts. Mom looked kind of tired, and I noticed actually earlier that morning that it felt strangely warm in the house. But neither of them seemed to really notice anything. We had had some issues with the garage door prior to that, so they had been dealing with fixing some stuff, and I'm pretty sure they weren't thinking about fixing something else. But anyway, I let them know about the non-noise going on outside. And lo and behold, yeah, the air conditioning had stopped working. We eventually got somebody to come out and look at it, but it ended up being 20 days from August 11th to August 21st, I think, that we spent with no air conditioning. No shit. It was so fucking hot. Pardon the language. Well, maybe not, but we all know I like profanity. But holy shitballs, it was so fucking hot. It was unbearable. 90 degrees inside the house. None of us really knew what to do. I think it was a very strange social experiment of sorts. One of the many that I've been having since I moved in with mom and dad, familial social experiments. And it all ties right in with the theme of my podcast, Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. Lots of spiritual practice going on. Thank goodness for live music to keep me going through the stuff. Thank goodness for my space travel moments and my ketamine infusions and the love that I have for my family to get me through these moments. That 20 days, holy moly. Now that I'm on the other side of it, I've been reflecting a lot on how amazing it was that I got through that 20 days without needing to make amends. And I'll get right into this life beyond my wildest dreams. The idea of that, when I was first presented with it, I know I'm kind of changing topics here or changing direction, but indulge me, if you will. When I first began my journey of recovery and self-discovery, And I was introduced with the concept of living a life beyond your wildest dreams. I know that my thought process was whatever. Yeah, what does that mean? I'll have money in my bank account. I'll be traveling the wide open seas on some grand yacht. I'll be doing everything and anything that I want. That's sort of the fantasy style, old wildest dreams idea that I definitely started this journey with. Prior to getting into my journey of recovery, I didn't know anything. I lived a very fantasy filled lifestyle, I guess. My thought process was not on awareness or acceptance or any of that stuff. Being presented, as I mentioned, with that idea felt like it was super hokey, and I didn't know what to make of it. As time has gone on, especially over this last year and a half, I've come to sort of understand, for me, today, the life beyond my wildest dreams is drastically different from that fantasy-fueled idea. I made it through this last 20 days without making things worse. I definitely could have made it a lot worse. I could have been bitching and moaning about the fucking air conditioning and what are we doing about it and when are we getting it fixed, and I didn't do any of that stuff. I am living with my parents. It's their house. It was a very interesting opportunity for me to sort of step back, not avoid trying to help, but really set a boundary on what's mine, what's theirs, what's the higher powers, like where do I give my opinions, offer my ideas, when do I just step back and mind my own business. They had things to do, a warranty to try and deal with. A lot of it was really me just trying to chill out, literally fan blowing. Thank goodness the electricity never went out at any point because the fans were instrumental. But it was definitely intense. Marshmelly and me were in the bedroom. I was eventually, about a week in, understood that it was necessary to start putting some cool washcloths on her at night. It was hot and pretty unbearable and intolerable and intense. Mom and I were home most of the days, although I relished in the days when I got to go to Jack Mackerel's and soak up the air conditioning for a little while. Really made work pretty appealing. But it was hot outside, hot inside. As I've been looking at things, what purpose can I find in that? Going back to hindsight, the hindsight idea that I did get through this pretty intense life episode these last few weeks. And in hindsight, I am really able to see that I didn't melt down. I was kind of literally melting. At least that's how I felt. I didn't sleep well. It was really unbearable. Can't open the windows because there's no cool air to blow in or anything. There was a lot of coping, and I didn't melt down. I think I did definitely cry in bed at one point. And I'm pretty sure my mom did some crying. I don't know about my dad, but it was challenging. My goodness, the ability to step back and stay in my own hula hoop, if you will, often not feeling the urge or compulsion to fix what wasn't mine or feed into some sort of weird old coping skills. To me, that is a life beyond my wildest dreams. I never really imagined I could be so emotionally well. And that's just been really washing over me the last couple weeks since this has taken place. And we now do have a brand new, fully functioning air conditioning system, which is pretty wonderful. It's not lost on me how far I've come as far as my emotional wellness, my emotional sobriety. I know it's a culmination of everything that I've done, and that's also something that's been really cool to reflect on. Everything I have been working on for the last 20 plus years, I mean, it's all been very purposeful. I don't want to say anything happened because this was going to happen now. But thank goodness that I had the tools to deal with the stuff that I just went through. And this last year and a half, I mean, I've talked about it so much, leaving Colorado, getting divorced, selling the house, letting go of an old life, continuing to move through my grief, even though things I believe are better for both of us. I believe my ex-husband is doing well as far as I know. He's got a girlfriend. He's remodeling his house. He seems to be doing well, and I think that's wonderful, and I'm really happy for him. And I'm doing really well. I mean, literally living a life beyond my wildest dreams in so many ways. And yet there's still grief, and there's still letting go, and there's still discomfort around moving through those things. Just because something is better maybe doesn't make the loss necessarily any less or any easier to move through. And I'm incredibly grateful. I'm profoundly grateful for not only having the tools, but actually having a willingness to use them. I mean, this last couple weeks, I had to really take in many deep breaths and use my meditation practices, a lot of prayer and surrender and acceptance of what was going on around me and how powerless I was over pretty much everything other than my attitude. And one day I stayed in bed until about 2:45. I was like, what am I going to get up for? I don't have work to go to and it's hot outside. So Marshmallow and I just stayed in bed. And it just makes me think of the low-hanging fruit that I've been reminded to practice with as far as letting go of my wanting things to be the way I want them to be. And when they're not, I can bitch and moan and complain about it or settle into it. The traffic, the weather, the broken air conditioning. And even though it was intensely challenging, I am getting so much better at not reacting and not getting triggered. And that's been pretty cool to see. So this life beyond my wildest dreams includes a lot. I went to Colorado and spent a month. I'm actually leaving to go to Colorado again on the 5th of October for a month to work and get in some more playtime. I'm going to Jazz Fest in scheduled 11 days in New Orleans for Jazz Fest, the whole festival this time. This week alone, I've been to 2 concerts, 2 more concerts coming up next week. It's pretty wonderful to have had a perspective shift. If I can just offer that to all y'all out there, anyone thinking that perhaps their fantasy life is the life that they wish they were living, I'm just going to gently suggest and invite you to shift your perspective, perhaps. I was talking with my mom the other day and I said, you know, if I was living this fantasy wildest dreams life of life out on a yacht, endless vacationing and traveling and all that stuff, I wouldn't be able to have the life that I have with my marshmallow. I wouldn't have been able to have had the life I had with my ex-husband and our dogs, the time that I spent on the hill. And I would not want to have had a life without that stuff. Like, I don't long to have lived a different life. And I'm very grateful for that. Right now, truly, I'm sitting in my bedroom in my parents' house, my cozy little bedroom that's really wonderful. And yeah, my life doesn't look anything like my fantasy mind would put it together. I don't even really go into fantasy mode really anymore. I mean, right now, this life that I have is realistic. I don't want to get lost in fantasy. And I'm very grateful also. I mean, I have been doing a lot of stuff to get me to this point. So I'm going to throw that out there. As you all know, I've been listening to a lot of stuff. I am in recovery, so I'm working many different programs. I'm using my tools, surrendering, cleaning up my past. I see a therapist. I've been listening to a lot of Michael Singer and Pema Chodron. And lately, she is on point and funny and really shares her practices and her teachings in a very easy to understand way. And I've recently specifically been listening to Don't Bite the Hook. trying to be patient. And I feel like that's what I'm doing. I'm sitting. I had to sit in some serious discomfort with the lack of air conditioning. Got to say it again. It was so hot, unbearable, stifling, suffocating. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. So I also don't want to, I very much understand that some people have it a lot worse, but that was my situation at the time. And I did everything I could to not make it more miserable. And I didn't have to try all that hard, which is just a reflection on how the work that I've been doing is really working. So I am going to throw that out there. Anyone who's in the midst of practicing or change, growth, trying some new stuff, keep doing it, because it really does come to fruition. The ability to not snark out, not melt down, all of that would have been understandable, but that I didn't do that. And at the end of that time period, I did not owe any amends. Lord knows I don't like to say I'm sorry or have to fix and remedy that kind of stuff. And I made it through really without making things worse. And I have this recollection of working at the Golden Eagle up in Beaver Creek many, many years ago. I was about 25 years old. And this gal who was younger than me, not by much probably, maybe she was 21, but she called me burnt and bitter. And at 25 years old, I was burnt and bitter. I was probably miserable to work with as a coworker. I was often hungover, and it was also hot there and working in the midst of crazy stuff, and we were busy, and I was just fucking miserable. And I'm not like that anymore. And it hasn't been all that long. I mean, I've come a long way, but my last few years in Colorado, I was kind of miserable. I was living in some very challenging under some very challenging circumstances, and I was not always the happiest person to be around. That being said, this last year and a half, I'm so much lighter, and I have had to continue to do the practice. As mentioned, I do work with the low-hanging fruit. It's pretty amazing that the traffic doesn't drive me crazy anymore. I was a pretty ragey driver, beeping the horn and cutting people off and always in a hurry, even though I never really had to be anywhere. And I do notice it, and whether the family's listening to this, but they drive fast and seem to be in a hurry. And I often want to say, like, where are we going, or what's the big deal? Slow down. Let's take a little nice cruise, especially if we're going home. But that's just me. So not to pick on anybody else, I definitely notice it within myself. I'm a much calmer person on the road, and yeah, it's hot outside, but I'm not crying when I go out, and I'm not complaining all the time about how hot it is because, well, I live in the South, and this is how it is in the South, especially how it was in August. Summertime in the South, it's hot. That's a part of it. I'm really excited to be sitting in this space of emotional wellness. It is a manner of living that I really never dreamt possible for me. I was very emotionally unwell for a long time. To think that I could behave in a manner that was not draining to others and wasn't all about me is pretty... That is something beyond my wildest dreams for sure. Oh, it's interesting. I just will say, in the last almost 2 years since the divorce, the cataclysmic life shift that I had, when my world fell out from under me, I didn't disappear into my grief and wither away into nothingness. Instead, I did opt to rise, and I continue to. I guess I'm kind of reflecting on that was the beginning of this new and exciting journey for me. And it just feels really neat. I had been I kept thinking, I'm going to do an episode on a life beyond my wildest dreams. And what I do think so often about is this musical life that I'm living. I mean, I'm well aware. I need to kind of hone in on the work area. I need to be bringing in some money and start putting some money away. I'm not living a fantasy life. I'm fortunate. I am with my parents right now. I'm giving them money and cleaning up and trading out for chores, and I'm very happy with the way things are, but I still have some stuff to be doing. That being said, I moved to the beach, for goodness sake. I'm in the process of healing old family wounds. I'm beginning again. I have in the last few years, it's almost going to be 2 years, it'll be 2 years in December. I've been to Jazz Fest in New Orleans twice, and as mentioned, third trip planned and booked. We got a place to stay. I've seen the Dave Matthews Band 3 times, Fish 3 times, Widespread Panic 5 times, with 2 more times coming up next weekend. And go see Government Mule for the 3rd time in a couple weeks before I leave for Colorado. It's like, whose life am I living? Who is this jet setter, Angie, who's traveling around and living this life beyond my wildest dreams? And it really does come from my willingness to settle in and look at my life with truth. I like to think that in these episodes, I'm sharing maybe some suggestions that y'all can put into practice if anyone out there is looking to grow their spiritual life. Yeah, to change and grow and heal. Well, look at your life with truth. To think that I could have a different life would more often mean that I miss out on the people that are in my life now. I wouldn't want that, and I don't know if you would. It's nice to fantasize, I suppose, about some stuff and maybe daydream, but I really appreciate getting my feet grounded back in the present with where I really am right now, not wishing things were different. I'm not wanting things to be other than they are. I've been dreaming about my doggies lately, and I've had a lot of them. I'm looking at a picture of my old girl Panda. She came into my life at 16 years old. I'm 52. That's a long time ago. And she's been gone for 20 years. And I think about her all the time. And I would never have wanted a life without her. I love that dog. And I miss her. And Marshmelly, I like to think we've got some years left also. But I'm so grateful to be happy with this life that I have. Making wildest dreams realistic leads to great gratitude. At least that's what I've been finding. Great gratitude for the way my life actually is. And if I focus on a perspective shift, I actually have more than I need. My goodness. And even more than I possibly deserve. I'm a work in progress. I haven't always been as deserving of the greatness, I suppose, that I have surrounding me right now. My karmic stuff has done its job with me. I have paid off some stuff, I think. And so maybe I'm just coming back to, I've been living a pretty healthy life these days, not really stepping on any toes. And so this life that I actually have is pretty wonderful. And I don't want to run away from it anymore. I like the life that I have now. As mentioned, Pema Chodron, Don't Bite the Hook. Great. It's 4 hours long. You can get it on audio, on Audible. I highly suggest listening to it if you are familiar with her stuff or if you're not familiar with it. It was great. And then Michael Singer, of course, The Surrender Experiment, The Untethered Soul, and Living from a Place of Surrender, The Untethered Soul in Action. Great. They're spectacular books. They have absolutely changed my life. Anyone out there living a life beyond their wildest dreams, what's it look like to you? Please send me a message through my email, ashyisbadass@gmail.com, or go to my website, www.lifelovemusicandspacetravel, and leave me a voice message. Tell me what you've got going on or how a perspective shift might have changed things for you. If you think this wildest dream lifestyle is somehow out of reach for you, you may be actually living a life beyond your own wildest dreams right now. It just takes moving out of the fantasy fairy tale kind of deal and sitting in and looking at what you've really got. Getting out of the fantasy and pulling myself in and really looking at this fantastic life I've had, my life, and being grateful for it. Bumpy with all of its ugly parts, perhaps, and yet all the growth that's taken place. So I'm going to finish it up with a couple questions from my favorite thing, Pod Decks. And I'm kind of just taking a walk down memory lane as far as this life I've lived. Random question. When you were a kid, did you have any posters on your wall? If so, what? I can remember a few of them. I definitely had John Bon Jovi with the big hair. I also had Michael Jackson Thriller, the Thriller one with all the creepy monsters. I definitely had Motley Crue, all like the 4 window pictures of each one of them. I just loved Nikki Sixx. And then I had at one point the Valley Girl poster with all the Valley Girl lingo slang on it. Just a few pictures. I'm a music junkie, always have been. There was somebody had painted a picture of the Beatles also, kind of a creepy Beatles photo in the bedroom. Somebody painted on the wall before we moved in. I love the music world, and it's carried right on into my, quote, adult life. The next question is, what's the longest you've ever waited in line for something, and what was it? And I'm pretty sure it was 12 hours on the sidewalk in Albany, New York, waiting to get tickets for the Grateful Dead playing at the Knickerbocker Arena. That was, I don't know, 89, 90, 91, 92. No, I'm going to say 90, something around there, 89 or 90, because I moved after that. But 12 hours when you got to wait for your tickets and had tickets in hand, and you actually had a shot at getting them if you were in line for wherever it was that you were, because you didn't get in line in the queue on the internet. It was great. I'm pretty sure John, Roman, Jim, at least the 4 of us were there. I'm not sure who else. Those were the days, and it was well worth the 12 hours for sure. Next question. Think about one thing you want to accomplish, and what obstacles do you need to overcome in order to do it? This ties right into maybe future wildest dream stuff for me in exposing myself and kind of being vulnerable. What would I like to accomplish? I would love to find a sponsor or get sponsored in some way by one of my favorite items for my podcast. I would love to grow my podcast, and I've been struggling a little bit because I'm human, and I can be a self-doubter. And sometimes it's hard. It seems to be getting harder to sit in front of the computer and just sit down and be vulnerable. My head gets all messed up. Who's listening? Who wants to listen? Who am I talking for? And so ultimately, I feel like I'm talking for me. This episode has been great for me to reflect on this life that I'm living. Holy moly. Because I know if I were living differently or exposing myself to other stuff or not exposing myself to anything, I could be miserable. I could still be in a pit of despair. I could have withered away into misery and nothingness over what I felt like I had lost and how things had gone and things were not the way I wanted them to be and all of that. That's not an option for me, at least not for today. And so as I sit here and think, oh my goodness, thank goodness I didn't do that. And what do I still want to accomplish? So what obstacles do I need to overcome in order to perhaps get a sponsorship? I got to get over my fear of success. What if I actually got somebody to sponsor me and then I had to put out an episode every week like I was doing in the beginning? I have to hold up my end of the bargain, and I can be just afraid of success as I can of failure. Fear gets in the way of everything, but my fear of success, my procrastination issues, I got a few things to overcome. I got to get over the fear of doing the footwork, of finding out what you need to do to get a sponsor. So if anybody's listening out there, all my favorite things, I listen to my Headspace app. I just got a new phone recently, so I've had to re-up on all my passwords and put new apps in. And I'm not a real techie person, but I learned through necessity. I'm using my Audible app. I absolutely love them. I've been listening to so many books. I love my Headspace app. I love nugs.net. My Nugs app, listening to music. It's prepping me for Keller, Tedeschi Trucks, and I love Spotify, blah, blah, blah. And yes, I am plugging all of those companies, businesses. And I'm going to just throw this out there because I have to. I have had a life beyond my wildest dreams with the dogs that I have been able to spend time with. I've had a great life with dogs. Most recently, last April, my little dude Chip headed on to his next great adventure. And I just want to throw out some props there to the company Chewy. If anyone has not used them, if you're a dog lover, cat lover, pet lover, Chewy they are the best in the business. Their customer service is on point. I mean, when I finally let them know, it had taken a little bit, but I let them know that my little dude went over the Rainbow Bridge, and they sent me flowers. I mean, I know they sent my mom a few things when her Haley headed over the bridge, and they are absolutely wonderful. I've gotten some banged up things in shipping, and they sent out new product and exchanged things. I do want to give big props to Chewy. Their shipping is lightning style fast. Anywho, just thinking about that. But yeah, I'd love to get a sponsor, and I'd love to interview perhaps maybe one of my favorite musicians. So we'll keep that all in mind. Next question. What are you most excited about in the next year? I am excited about continued growth. Does that sound corny? Does it sound corny? I am. I'm excited about growing. I am super jazzed on growing. This next year, I don't know if there's one thing that I'm most excited about, but I'm excited about going to Colorado. I am excited about life in general, being able to get through the challenges and being able to actually be in the great stuff. Like that's just as great as getting through the tough stuff, or just as hard as it is sometimes to be in the good stuff and actually be present and available and in it. I'm excited about another trip around the sun, whether it started on my birthday or January 1st or today, a year from now. I don't know what's to come. I'm sure there'll be some challenges mixed in. This last 20 days, or the 11th through the 21st, was incredibly challenging, unexpected, and it came in the form of air conditioning or lack thereof. I'm excited about the possibilities. I have no idea what's coming. That used to scare me. These days, I stay in today and see what life has to offer if we wake up tomorrow. The next, and I think this is the last question, what makes growing exciting? A life beyond my wildest dreams is really this life of growth. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how things are going to play out. I don't know if the hurricane's going to come or not. I don't know what the weather is going to be like tomorrow. And because of this journey of recovery, self-discovery, which has included an incredible amount of growth, a willingness to grow, and understanding that just because I'm 52 doesn't mean I'm grown, or I love the spiritual growth area. But the most exciting thing about it is how much more exciting life gets. It's exciting. The challenges are exciting. I can't necessarily explain it, but to be able to say that I'm really living a life beyond my wildest dreams is directly related to my growth. I don't live in a castle on top of the hill or right on the beach or whatever fantasy life might make up what would seem like a wildest dream. I'm spending time with my family, soaking up time with my parents, traveling, making new friends, settling in, getting to be with my dog, staying open-minded and curious as to what life has to offer, continuing to build my relationship with a higher power, doing the things that I need to do to stay well. I mean, I was talking to my mom last night and I said, I never thought I could be this emotionally well. And as I mentioned, it's related to a lot of stuff. I have a ketamine infusion scheduled for the 21st of September, and I'm excited. It's actually been a couple months. July 10th was my last one, I think, and it's a little bit longer than I like to go. And I can tell I'm just a little bit off, and it's medicine like any other medicine. That's how I've come to understand it. That's my experience with it. I'm excited because my life has changed since including the ketamine infusion process. I'm not going to ignore that, and it would be a great disservice to anybody out there who might be interested in trying something different. So with that, I look forward to seeing my therapist before I head off to Colorado and prepping for that part of my adventure. The most exciting thing about growing is growing and changing. This earthly experience is fucking one wild ride that is not to be missed. For anyone teetering on the edge, wondering what they're doing, thinking their life is boring, schmoring, not what they want it to be, well, maybe it's time to make some changes. I didn't want to move downstairs. I didn't want to pack up my stuff. I tried to do some other things, and that's just where it happened to lead us. And here I am now. I live near the beach. I'm going to get to the mountains soon, I hope. I am going to get to the mountains in Colorado, but I'm going to get to the North Carolina mountains eventually, and I'm going to see some more music, and I'm doing all these wonderful things, and I'm nothing special. I'm not unique. It's available to all y'all out there as well. Here's to living a life beyond your wildest dreams, doing what you need to do to make that possible, which just might be a perspective change. Could be as easy as that. I think that's it for now. Thanks for listening to my fast and furious episode on a life beyond my wildest dreams. This is kind of a beyond my wildest dreams deal, sitting down and recording a podcast that maybe someone's going to listen to. I know some of you are out there listening, and I appreciate it. I'm going to try and do maybe a trivia question and send out a prize, a musically focused prize. So we'll keep that in mind. Sign up. Join my podcast website page email list, and we'll start to build a community, and somebody will get something cool. All right. That's it for now. As always, thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of today, tonight, tomorrow, wherever you are. And here's to next time. Bye for now. Ciao. So we've reached the end of today's episode. Thanks so very much for listening. It's now time to reconnect to planet Earth and all that comes with living on the blue ball. I'd love to hear your ideas for future episode topics, along with any and all positive and or constructive feedback. Please feel free to contact me at ashysbadass@gmail.com. Thanks again for spending some time with me and allowing me to share myself with you. Until next time, please be gentle with yourselves, be kind to animals, and do all you can to allow your authentic selves to shine brightly.